The wreck beneath the ice. The wind over Antarctica shrieked like a living thing, hurling shards of snow across the barren expanse. Dr. Lena Moreno adjusted her visor and squinted at the dull glow of the drilling rig in the distance. The sky was a bruised gray, and the temperature had plummeted so low that even her breath froze in the air before her. "Depth?" she asked over the comm. 70 meters and climbing," replied a tired voice. Jiro Tanaka, the expedition's drill chief, sounded like a man running on caffeine and adrenaline alone. "We hit bedrock 2 hours ago. Now the scanner's going wild, metallic signature, dense as hell." Lena's heart quickened. Metallic signatures under the Antarctic ice weren't unheard of. Old meteorites, remnants of forgotten research stations, but nothing this size. She trekked across the ice, boots crunching, until she stood at the edge of the yawning borehole. Steam curled from the shaft, illuminated by portable floodlights that cut through the storm like golden knives. Captain Thomas Rourke joined her, his bulky frame clad in Arctic-grade armor. He kept one hand near the sidearm holstered at his hip. Old habits died hard. "You're sure about this, Doc?" His voice was low, wary. "We dig deeper, we might hit something we don't want to wake up." Lena smirked despite the cold. "If you're trying to scare me off, you'll have to do better than that." Moments later, Jiro's excited shout crackled through the comms. "We're through. You need to see this." Lena and Rourke descended into the borehole, using a lift rig from steel cables. The deeper they went, the warmer it became, heat seeping from something below. Then the lift stopped with a jolt. The beam of Lena's helmet lamp swept across an impossible sight. A curve of alloyed black metal, etched with patterns that no human hand could have made, protruded from the ice. The surface shimmered as if it absorbed the light. "Holy!" Rourke's voice trailed off. "That's no meteor." Lena dropped to her knees, running gloved fingers across the strange material. "The lattice structure. This isn't any Earth alloy. Look at these markings. They are language. Maybe." Further excavation revealed a corridor, crushed but intact, leading deeper into what they quickly realized was a vessel, an enormous one. Their lights barely reached the other side of the chamber. They opened. Professor Ishan Patel arrived 2 days later, flown in by a secret government order. He stood in awe beside Lena, brushing snow off his parka. "These glyphs, they resemble pre-colonial star maps, but far more complex. Whoever built this wasn't human. Whoever built this," Rourke cut in, scanning the shadows, "might still be around. We need to keep this contained." The team set up portable labs within the ice cavern. Days turned into weeks as they pried open bulkheads, charted passageways, and collected fragments of technology far beyond their comprehension. Beneath the ship's central spire, they found a crystalline sphere pulsing faintly with blue light. "It's still active," Lena whispered the first time she laid eyes on it. The sphere radiated power, faint but steady, like a heartbeat. Patel adjusted his glasses. "If this is what I think it is, it's some kind of core, propulsion, energy, maybe even a command node." Rourke folded his arms, skeptical. "And if it's a bomb?" Lena ignored him, her mind already racing. "We need an interface. A small feed. Maybe we can wake up its memory banks." Within a week, she had cobbled together a hybrid rig. Human quantum processors patched into alien conduits, power siphoned from portable reactors. The team gathered in the cavern, breath visible in the cold, as Lena lowered the connector into place. The moment the circuits touched, the sphere flared, bathing them in a surge of blue light. Glyphs along the walls illuminated one by one, like constellations coming alive. A low hum reverberated through the ancient hall. Then, from deep within the ship, a sound answered, a slow, rising thrum, as if something vast had just woken from a long sleep. Rourke's hand went to his weapon. "What did you do?" Lena stepped back, eyes wide, heart pounding. Above them, the ice trembled ever so slightly, and the ancient ship whispered in a tongue that no human had ever heard. The broken starship was no longer dormant, and Earth would never be the same, waking the beast. The cavern beneath the Antarctic ice no longer fell dead. The alien vessel breathed, its inner corridors pulsing with threads of blue light that crawled along the walls like veins. Lena Moreno stood before the crystalline sphere, what the team now called the core, and watched data scroll across her tablet faster than any human system had ever processed. Stabilizing output, Jiro reported, his voice tight. He adjusted a cluster of converters, each cobbled from human tech and scavenged alien conduits. Sparks spat into the icy air, and the lights above flickered. "You're feeding it too much," Lena warned. "Not enough, and we get nothing," Jiro shot back, sweat beading on his brow despite the cold. "This thing's hungry." Captain Rourke prowled the edge of the chamber like a restless wolf, eyes never leaving the alien glyphs as they ignited one by one. His rifle remained slung across his chest. "Hungry ships tend to bite, document." Lena didn't look up. "If we don't wake it, we don't learn. And if we don't learn, someone else will come along and take it. Is that what you want?" Rourke didn't answer. He didn't have to. His job was to keep them alive, not debate morality. Over the next month, the site transformed. Tunnels were reinforced with steel and concrete. A freight elevator was installed to ferry equipment down from the surface. The project became a shadow operation known only to a handful of governments. Teams of engineers, coders, and linguists rotated in under strict security protocols. Inside the ship, Lena moved through a maze of corridors, her headlamp slicing through the darkness. The ship's architecture was strange, walls that curved in ways that defied Euclidean geometry, conduits woven like sinew through bone. She placed her palm against a panel, and it shimmered, reacting to her presence. They built it to respond to organic input. Patel observed from behind her, his tablet recording glyph patterns. "A neural interface, perhaps?" "Maybe," Lena murmured, already running the possibilities in her mind. "Or maybe it's just been waiting for someone to talk to it." They reached a sealed chamber, its door jagged from an ancient impact. Lena crouched, using a plasma cutter to widen the breach. Inside lay rows of pods, shattered, empty. Their glass surfaces bore claw-like scratches from the inside. Patel swallowed hard. "Escape pods? Stasis chambers. Whatever they were, they're dead now," Lena said quietly. But her gaze lingered on a single intact pod, its surface covered in frost. Something inside shifted. She froze, then shook her head. "Probably debris," she whispered, though doubt crept into her voice. By the second month, power distribution stabilized. The core's output surged, enabling partial control over subsystems. They raised a section of the hull on mechanical struts, revealing vast engines that hadn't burned in centuries. "Radiation levels are safe," Jiro announced, though his hands trembled with awe. "I can't believe this thing still has a reactor that works." "It doesn't just work," Lena replied, eyes glittering in the core's glow. "It's adapting to our inputs. Look at the patterning. It's rewriting its own firmware." Rourke listened silently, then stepped forward. "Doc, if this thing can rewrite itself, what makes you think we can control it?" Lena met his gaze. "Because no one else is trying." That night, in the cramped operations tent above the ice, Rourke sent encrypted reports to his superiors. He didn't sugarcoat his words. "The vessel is active, potentially dangerous. Recommend full military oversight." The reply came hours later. "Proceed. Keep it secret. Do not destroy." Weeks later, the milestone came. "Thruster ignition test, cycle 1, Jiro announced over the comms. His voice echoed through the control chamber, now lined with alien consoles retrofitted with human interfaces. Lena stood at the core, her hand on a patched-in neural link. "On my mark," she said. Her heart pounded. The room hummed with tension. 3, 2, 1. A deep vibration rolled through the hull, resonating in their bones. Ice cracked overhead as ancient engines stirred. A low roar filled the cavern. Snow and dust cascaded from the ceiling as the Starship lifted. Just an inch, then settled back down with a tremor that sent ripples across the frozen floor. Silence followed. Then a cheer erupted from the crew. Lena smiled, exhilarated. "It flies." Rourke didn't cheer. He stood apart, hand on his rifle, eyes scanning the dark. He had seen enough battlefields to know what they'd just awoken wasn't just a ship. It was a weapon, and weapons always came with a cost. The galaxy notices. The Aegis Nova, though that name had not yet been spoken, slept no longer. Its engines had lifted once, only inches, but that tremor had been enough to send a ripple through the void. Unbeknownst to the humans laboring under the Antarctic ice, ancient sensors hidden in the cold reaches of space awoke, registering the beacon. Above Earth, a month after the ignition test, Lena stood in the control chamber, staring at a bank of monitors. The core's glow pulsed steadily, matching her heartbeat. Signal interference again, Jiro muttered, frowning as static danced across the data feeds. It started right after the last diagnostic. It's not interference, Patel said softly, tracing glyphs on his screen. It's a transmission. This ship is calling out. Lena froze. Calling who? Patel met her eyes, face pale. Whoever built it. Rourke's voice cut across the comms from the surface outpost. Moreno, we've got satellites picking up unusual objects moving at high velocity. They're not ours. Lena's stomach twisted. How many? 3 small craft. Vectors suggest deceleration near Earth orbit. They'll be here in hours. The first intrusion. By nightfall, the storm over the drilling site had quieted, leaving a brittle calm. Rourke's security team patrolled the perimeter. In the distance, the horizon shimmered. 3 falling stars that never burned up, streaking silently toward the ice. Inside the ship, Lena and Patel scrambled to lock down systems. If they know what this is, Patel said, voice tight, they'll take it by force. They won't. Rourke interrupted as he entered, helmet under one arm, rifle slung. His eyes were hard as steel. Not while I'm breathing. A tremor shook the chamber. The lights dimmed. Outside, the landing struts of alien skimmers punched into the ice. Figures emerged, tall, angular silhouettes, armored in dark composites, their movements unervingly precise. Contact, Rourke barked over comms. We got hostiles. Gunfire erupted above, muffled by layers of ice. Lena crouched over the core, frantically disconnecting her neural interface. We have to move the ship, she gasped. Now, or we lose everything. Jiro stared at her. Move it. We don't even know if it can. Do it, she snapped. The awakening. The core flared to life as Lena initiated the sequence. Alien glyphs cascaded across the consoles, reacting to human input with almost eager speed. The deck vibrated, stronger this time, as though the ship remembered flight. Rourke burst back into the chamber, one arm bleeding from a grazing shot. They've breached the lower levels. We've got maybe 10 minutes. Then we don't wait, Lena said. Strap in. Strap in, Jiro sputtered. We don't even have a launch path. The hull shuddered again. Distant booms echoed, charges set by the intruders. Lena closed her eyes, letting the neural link hum against her skull. Show me, she thought. Show me how you fly. In her mind, the ship unfolded like a living blueprint. Engines, stabilizers, weapons arrays dormant but hungry. Her hands moved across the console instinctively, guided by alien design. Engines primed. Jiro breathed, watching readouts climb. Rourke planted himself by the hatch, rifle raised. If this kills us, Doc. It won't, Lena whispered. Hold on. Be a scent. The core screamed with light. Ice around the hull cracked, shattered, and exploded outward in a storm of frozen shards. Alarms blared. The chamber shook violently as the engines roared to full burn. Outside, the alien strike teams fell back, shouting in their guttural language as the buried vessel rose from its cradle like a leviathan from a deep. Massive chunks of ice cascaded off its curved hull. The ship tore free of the cavern, molten snow boiling in its wake. Altitude 50 meters, Jiro shouted. Stabilizers holding. Lena's breath caught as the vessel breached the surface, the Antarctic winds lashing against its newly exposed skin. The ship hung in the storm, ancient and reborn, humming with impossible power. Contact, 2 alien craft inbound. Rourke warned, bracing himself. On the tactical screen, Two skimmers curved toward them, weapons charged. Lena's fingers hovered over alien glyphs. She didn't know what would happen, only that the ship wanted to defend itself. She pressed down. A blinding lance of energy erupted from the vessel's forward array. The first skimmer disintegrated midair, leaving only a burning trail. The second veered off, retreating into the clouds. The chamber went silent, except for their ragged breathing. Rourke lowered his rifle slowly. "Doc," he said, voice low with awe, "what the hell have we built?" Lena stared out through the observation port at the ship's reflection in the icy plain below. "We didn't build it," she whispered. "We woke it up. Far above Earth, unknown ships altered course." The beacon was loud now, calling the galaxy's attention. And Earth's secret was no longer safe. Rise of the superweapon. The ship climbed through the upper atmosphere, shedding frost and shattered ice like the feathers of some colossal bird. Inside the command chamber, alarms wailed, glyphs burned bright, and the hull vibrated with a growing, thunderous power. "Altitude critical," Jiro shouted over the din. "If we don't stabilize, we're going to burn." Lena's fingers flew across the alien interface, eyes locked on the glowing symbols. The ship felt alive beneath her hands, its systems answering with a smoothness no human craft could match. "Stabilizers, here," she called, linking human processors into the alien guidance arrays. The ship's roll steadied, engines rebalancing with a deep, resonant hum. "Course," Rourke demanded, gripping the railing as gravity clawed at him. "Low Earth orbit," Lena replied. "Guess clear now." The course surged. Gravity released its grip. The chamber lurched, then settled, as the vessel broke free of the blue and white cradle of Earth. Before them stretched the cold, endless black of space, streaked with stars and the glow of distant satellites. "Incoming threats." "Contacts," Patel said, his voice trembling as he scanned the sensors. "Multiple signatures, closing fast. They're not ours." On the screen, a cluster of sleek ships arrowed toward them. The Wyrarkal, the rightful owners, or so they believed, of the superweapon now under human control. "They're hailing," Patel added. The speakers crackled with a harsh, guttural language. Rourke frowned, and Patel worked quickly to run it through translation algorithms. "Return what is ours," the alien voice boomed through the chamber, cold and imperious. "Relinquish the weapon, or your world will burn." Rourke bared his teeth in a humorless grin. "I've heard that line before." Lena turned to him. "We can't outrun them. We either fight or we die." Rourke slung his rifle over his shoulder, stepping toward her. "Then we fight. Tell me you've got something better than a warning shot." Weapon systems online. Lena's hands hovered over the consoles. The ship's offensive systems are still locked behind failsafes. "I've only scratched the surface of its arsenal." "Scratch harder," Rourke growled. The ship itself seemed to answer. Glyphs shifted, reorganized, and a new array bloomed across the interface. A targeting grid, dormant weapons now pulsing to life. Lena's neural link flared with pain as alien data flooded her mind. Plasma lances, gravitic shear cannons, even a main weapon capable of splitting a moon. Her breath caught. "It's too much power. If I push it all at once, we'll tear ourselves apart." "Then be clever," Rourke said, leaning in. "Humans are good at that." The battle in orbit. The first Wyrarkal ship opened fire, emerald bolts streaking past the hull. The vessel shuddered as a second barrage clipped its side, scattering molten fragments into the void. Sparks rained from a ruptured console. "Shields at 40%. Jiro yelled. "Returning fire," Lena murmured, fingers darting across the alien grid. Twin lances of blue energy erupted from the ship's prow, slicing through the nearest attacker. The alien craft disintegrated in a blossom of light. Another enemy ship banked hard, attempting to flank them. Lena pulled data from the core, rerouting power from idle subsystems. A gravitic pulse burst outward, slamming the pursuer into its own wingmate. Both vanished in a silent explosion. "Two left," Patel cried. Rourke planted his boots, watching the tactical screen. "They're regrouping for a final run. Can you stop them?" Lena hesitated. A final option glowed within the core, a weapon far beyond anything they'd tested. Her mind raced. It might destroy them too. Rourke touched her shoulder, steady and calm despite the chaos. Lena, it's this or Earth burns. She nodded once. The superweapon unleashed. The core's glow intensified, flooding the chamber with blinding light. Systems screamed warnings in both human and alien tongues. Lena felt her own thoughts dissolve into the ship's will, her heartbeat sinking with the thrum of ancient machinery. Charging main array, she whispered. The enemy ships closed in, their weapons spooling for a killing blow. Now, Rourke barked. Lena slammed her palm onto the final glyph. The Aegis Nova roared, a deep, cosmic sound that vibrated through her bones. A column of white-hot energy erupted from the ship's forward array, so bright it cast shadows on the far side of the planet. The beam struck, and the lead enemy craft vanished instantly, reduced to incandescent gas. The shockwave tore the second apart, scattering molten shards into the void. Silence. The tactical screen cleared. No more threats. Aftermath. Lena staggered back from the console, severing the neural link. Her head throbbed, but she was alive. Patel exhaled shakily, staring at the empty expanse outside. Jiro laughed, a short, stunned bark of disbelief. Rourke straightened, bloodied but unbowed. Guess we're not defenseless anymore. Lena gazed out at Earth far below, a blue jewel cradled in darkness. Her voice was quiet, awed. We've turned their weapon into ours. Patel shook his head slowly. The whole galaxy heard that shot. They'll be coming. Good, Rourke said with a grim smile. Let them. They'll know we're not prey. The ship drifted in orbit, its ancient hull glowing with new purpose. Earth had woken a Titan, and for the first time in history, humanity held the most powerful weapon in the stars.